Hello, Degens. I'm going to make a special video today to analyze some of your altcoins before everything starts moving, so we have a clear perspective and not just some bullish, euphoric, or hopium kind of TA, right? Let me start with BTC dominance because I've been reading for weeks and months that there won't be an alt season simply because it hasn't happened yet, or this cycle is different. Only selected altcoins will run, and only they could only say that because BTC dominance has just chopped and it's been in a bull market, right? The whole cycle, just giving us some breaks in between. But you cannot say unless you have a proper old season and only a few coins run, then you can say there isn't a proper all season, like an all season as we know, a broad all season, right? But until then, that's ridiculous to say. If you have some just small explosive moves, corrections for BTC dominance, it is normal that just a few coins move here and there. Sometimes the memes, sometimes some real world assets, whatever. But just because it's just like an appetizer, right? We haven't had a proper all season. In fact, you can see that the daily BTC dominance hasn't really lost the 20 and the 50 pretty much since Q4. Last a small fake out here in May, right? So this drop could just be a retest of the 20, get people very excited, and BTC decides to push again, right? Or not even a retest here, just a bounce from the daily, right? The weekly, way much more work to do, because you can see that even the 20 and the 50 haven't been broken, right? Just retested here in December. So it's about perspective. If you let your impatient dominate you, you're going to be cooked for when the time comes. And what I mean by that is impatient is clouding your judgment. Again, I've shown plenty of times, and I will do for one last time here now, before the charting of the altcoins. This cycle is special. This is way stronger for altcoins than the previous cycle, where they did nothing until BTC dominance rolled over. So then you have like 3-4 months to have all the gains for your altcoins. That's why they looked way more explosive. Does it mean that the fact they've been climbing together with BTC dominance, does it mean that they don't have so much room to grow because they have already? No, that depends on BTC dominance. BTC dominance hasn't shown weakness this cycle. Just few traps here and there, little chop. Look at the percentage where it is now. Imagine if we have some kind of drop like this. I don't know if we will get it, but if we have an old season like this, even just a drop to 0.5 wouldn't be like a proper old season, perhaps 50, right? Such a big drop. That could be insane, because I think people are not really they are not really aware of what this kind of move. Perhaps they expect a big drop percentage wise for altcoins to really print 10 or 20x, but they are forgetting the amount of money that were here. BTC around 60, 50 something. The amount of money that would be here, that's already in altcoins, that's already in USDT market cap. Remember, USDT market cap, I don't know how many times I have to say that, but USDT market cap has been increasing non-stop this cycle. Compare the USDT market cap when BTC dominance rolled over, right here, and the market cap now, like 10x. It was like 140 billion, 1.14, 10x the market cap that was here. when pretty much the old season started. And it's been increasing since then. People that say these big moves are from the past, but at the same time they say Bitcoin is the solution against fiat because fiat devaluates fast. That doesn't make any sense. If fiat devaluates so fast, that means there's way more money than there were 4 years before. So it isn't crazy to expect more money, more gains in terms of USDT, US dollars value, right? Even though when you get to the real world, things are way more expensive. I'm not analyzing that, but in terms of flat amount of money, there's way more. So if we have a proper correction for BTC dominance with altcoins so close to all-time high, remember how far they were here. So close, how far? Yeah, sorry, previous all-time high. Very far. So close. 30 something, 40, 400%. Everything, like, it could be insane. I mean, in this 6% drop, we saw XRP, which was, I don't know, the 4th or 5th altcoin by market cap, print a 6x, like nothing, in a month or month and a half. 6x. XRP, a coin that was dead, that could just make perhaps a 50%, 100% move as a cycle top. That was the kind of calls back in December. Seriously, we might not be ready just based on data. We have a big rollover with all this money in the system and altcoins so high. It is not crazy to assume that the price will be way higher. People with BTC at 105k at a correction into 99 was pure panic. Have we lost our minds? Have we lost perspective? Have we really normalized 100k when in October, September was impossible this cycle for many people? Just think about that. Recency bias, that's all people care about. That's why the top won't look like the top, because it will happen after a few months of up only. So when we get to 150, if we get there, it would look like normal. Like 120 would be panic. And the cycle repeats. Doge at 50 cents would look, after a correction, would look like panic. It's the same thing over and over again. So let's wait until later. Suggest that, okay, we are not going too far away, but for now, look at the weekly, look at the monthly, highest RSI ever for BTC dominance. Just saying that. You can say, okay, but it spiked to 73 here. It was easier. There was less coins here, right? It was easier. All the coins that were created here and in this cycle as well. And it's still almost the same kind of dominance. So you can imagine the amount of money that is in BTC. Remember the billions of inflow from ETFs monthly. What are we talking about? Have we lost perspective just because we are glued to low time frame? I don't really understand it, to be honest. But there's so much work to do. You might see that as a bad sign. I see it as an incredible sign. If everything keeps pushing without BTC dominant rolling yet, by the time it happens, the higher you start, the higher you will get. So again, look when all the MAs were lost, the 20 and the 50, right? The first initial impulse, the last impulse from BTC. This is the bull season. We haven't even lost them once. Not even a, yes, this couldn't be like, not even a fake out. Imagine losing them, and it could be fast. And in fact, the best way to trap people would be to make it fast, so they are not ready. That's the easiest way to make them chase. But we've been tracking it all. We've been waiting and ready for the moment to be, for the moment when the moment happens, to be ready and capture the maximum and squeeze the market out. And remember this, because you will hear we are just starting. The bull market has just started. If it coincides with the Fed cutting, oh boy, that would be the starting point for all the noobs out there. Like in 2021, how else do you get people to buy the top if you don't make them believe it's not the top? Remember that. Okay, let's start with the altcoins, and you are gonna allow me to start with VELO. It's one of my main coins, and I gotta love this. Not only the Adam and Eve, but the how this accumulation range has held even the scam listing, the scam dump after the listing, the war effect, all the coins dropping, and it has respected these lows, even closing higher. Accumulation around the MA. I said to study October 23 for a reason, because the accumulation kind of pattern was similar, and there's a difference here. This was just the 20 MA that reclaimed here, right? And it couldn't hold the 50. It did here both for a final impulse into this resistance, right? And now you're holding, making higher lows. This is, as I said, the range you wish you had bought. I don't think this is going to hold the next time we break it. And, sorry, as a target, I pointed out that perhaps the next two targets for me, 0.5, so especially 0.6. As the next weekly cycle, we have a big run correction into the final alt season. If we have something like that, these are my two first targets. And for now, I don't think about cycle targets because I need to see how it all develops. But I posted that this area would be 3, 6, 1, 5 or 4, 5. That would be the profit taking area, and we tap the bottom of it. So by the same logic, for me, the highest I can imagine for now, for this cycle, would be this cluster here. It's an important Fibonacci level. It's been an important bounce support, bounce area, even stronger than this one. But you can see the similarities. So yeah, touching this bottom area, around 30 cents. For me, that's the highest I can think of. And again, there's a difference between thinking of it and expecting it. I'm not going to wait until then. I will see other indicators, other signals, and if I have to exit earlier, I will do. But if I have to hold because everything looks great, I will do as well. From these levels, that would be like a 20x. Perhaps a bit more, but you get the 21x. You get the idea. And let me show you something else. Monthly, please take a look at this. Look at the wicks, the liquidity grabbing, the demand holding this area. Not even the bottom showed this with this perfect rounded bottom. So such level of demand. And monthly could be just crossing. I don't even know if it's crossing or not. Not still below, but about to cross. Again, similar to October. This demand being holding for almost a year. This, do you think it's to stop here, cycle-wise? Perhaps even here. I don't know, but I'm not going to go the perma-bullish kind of route. But it's not to stop here. This is a new range. Bottom, new range, new bottom. This is accumulation for more than a year. The thing is, people are glued to low-term frames, so they don't see this as accumulation range because they don't think in long-term, right? It's daily, hourly, so they miss the big picture. That's why they can't imagine big targets, because they are going to be scared. PTSD is going to be the next obstacle, like the next enemy. It's going to make many people sell early. The moment you see a pullback, a decent pullback, 10, 50, 20%, they might think it's over. I'm going to sell before a back hole, and they're going to be left behind. It's not going to be easy, in my opinion. This is a huge range. Buying here, I think this is the golden opportunity. My average is around, I think it's 0.015, something like that. So I don't care if I'm temporarily underwater. I sold a bit here, not all, but happy to hold for a bit longer. It's about finding good entry and just let it all play. I really like the monthly chart. Let's take a look at ONDO. Monthly wise, demand area, right? And I posted that it dropped a little bit more here. It's before moving back up. But you can see the demand area is clear here. They are not allowing to make lower lows. That's good. Fibonacci levels clearly, sorry, the structure levels clear here. And in this case, we would have to draw some kind of Fibonacci to look for potential targets. You can draw it differently. If we take this the top and this is the bottom, now you can draw some Fibonacci speculation. I'm not really sure how to draw it because you could also use the previous top and the previous bottom, right? And you can see that previously it didn't even get to 138. It got like in between in a very long wick. And for now it's holding 0.382, closing above. So this could be a reference, right? Getting rejected at 0.6 golden ratio. We'll see. At least 168. I mean, I think that's not crazy for the next leg, right? I don't think that's 3x is something. For the next weekly cycle here, we have like similar kind of move. It could be around here for the next cycle wise. I have no idea with ONDO, and I don't know if I will just sell the next impulse and buy something else. I'm not really sure. Weekly wise, still below the EMAs. I said that the structure was very similar. We'd make a slight lower low. That's something should be just a deviation. I don't want to see any kind of rejection here. We need to cross and push, not get rejected. We might see initial rejection and go back to 87 here, but something in the short term. I need to see this cross again to really push. It went lower than I expected, but I think it's been clearly the same kind of structure. And it's big boys behind this, so they will pump it whenever they want. That's how I see it. Doge. I charted Doge today, and this is incredible, to be honest. Especially from the EMA perspective. This is the weekly, the 200, like it did here in summer with some fake outs. Perfect double bottom retest and the weekly. This is the bear market bottom, right? 2023, not making lower lows. This is the cycle entry, right? Around 5 cents, something like that. Wonderful. Then you have the reclaim, explosive move, holding all the EMAs, explosive move, holding the EMAs, fake out to, yes, to fake people out the same way it did here. Like it doesn't really happen with Doge that even though it moves in explosive kind of moves, we can see that it fakes people out by thinking we are back and then it's over. Like premature kind of move, just to retest the bottom. It has done the same thing, and then we have the explosive move. It does the same thing all the time. It's the king of explosive moves. So even if we have the same kind of move here, let's say from the average here, let's say the green candle, so 3x from the bottom, it's already pretty much getting to retest the autumn high. There might be people who think that's not $1 is FUD, whatever. We will have that kind of narrative soon, the moment price goes up, because that's all that changes the spirits here. But I think it would be great to trap people, to make them think about a double top, to make it reject the autumn high or go slightly above, to trap people, then print another higher low, perhaps at this level, 35, even though support is not really strong here, but something like that, and then keep going forward. Or overshooting, which I don't think it's going to happen in the next weekly cycle, but it all depends on BTC dominance when it decides to move. I'm not going to try to smart, to predict, to expect. I'm going to adapt, right? So that's why I don't really like to speculate about targets. I want to see how far it can go, because no one expected this 3x 100x in a week. No one can expect that, and if anyone says that, that's full of bullshit, you know. But it would be good to see some kind of trap again here, making people think that is just a double top, blah blah blah. And then you have Elon, who can pump Doge whenever he wants. It's an easy play for whales, in my opinion. I think since it's very explosive coin, watching for overheating on the weekly could be very helpful. In this case, this is 87 RSI in the weekly. We switch to the daily and we find a various divergence for quite some time. So this is great to find an exit area without dropping fast. We have plenty of time to exit between 45 and 40, 35, 40, 45, something like that, 10% range, 15% range. Daily very overheated. Perhaps you try to 90s too. You wait for the divergence, even though you might risk losing it all. That's why if you have a good entry, you might wait for to see if the MA is retested or lost. You can see here how it showed weakness, very overheated on the weekly, and then we start struggling with the first MA, right? And that's this is the first sign of weakness since the move started, right? Reclaim, double, retest, making high highs and high lows, and off we go into the top, showing weakness. All support becomes resistance, lower high, resistance, and then we start flipping with the bullish divergence. I mean, this, if it happens again, it doesn't matter if you get the top or the bottom exactly. Remember, we buy ranges, we sell ranges. That's my plan, at least, and I'm in peace with that, right? If it's a 10, 20%, whatever kind of range, I don't care. But again, I posted here it would be the bottom, and we have retested it again. Is it over? No, it's just another opportunity to load cheap. It depends how you. If you think like a pleb, you will be scared all the time. If you think like a whale, you'll see this as an opportunity to buy cheap again. You have to change your perspective, your mindset, and perhaps to think like a whale, you have to take profit, to have cash ready, to, instead of suffering with a drawdown, being excited to buy cheap again. And all of a sudden, all the markets are so much easier to navigate. The bull market is exciting, it's not exhausting, and everything changes. It's all about managing risk. And instead of waiting a little bit more because we are so close to all-time highs, just a 50%, that's FUD, blah blah blah. Instead of waiting for this when you have so much overheating, even if it gets there, would you really risk a 47%? You don't get it, and then you eat a 70% drawdown. No, but I would sell on the way down. Be careful, because when you are on the way down, you might think, what should I really sell? I mean, we have a big correction, we might come back. Look, we're coming back. Fuck, we're coming. What am I gonna do now? It's already a 40% drop. 30. I mean, perhaps that's enough. That's enough. Fuck. Next time I will sell, and the cycle repeats. So be careful with that. This coin looks really, really good, and I believe these prices won't be seen in a long time if everything gets sent. Retesting the weekly MAs the way it's doing, it's incredible. And this is why I believe this is just the chop before the real explosive move. I don't think previous cycle is reliable, but what I can see here is this structure. It's not very different from this one. It is not, right? You can see it here. It's break, retest, high highs, high lows, and all of a sudden, what's this? the weekly, pretty much even lower RSI now. And all of a sudden we fly until 99 RSI. 99 RSI was on the top, because when we are in full euphoria and BTC dominance says it's time to keep going down. And let me show you something. This is BTC dominance dropping from 70 to 63 with way less money in the market, like a kind of a Q4 kind of move. What kind of move did we have for Doge? Yes, the market cap was smaller, but think about any other altcoin, 25x in just a 7% move. Then we have the move from 62 to 40, like 20% move, and Doge prints another 14%. Let's just wait for everything to unfold. Seriously, don't rush. Next one, Link. I don't think I have charted Link this cycle. Okay, this is not the coin, sorry. Link. Okay. RSI trying to break again. Another kind of double bottom area, but below the EMAs. The good thing is, structurally speaking, the lows seem well established. This is the golden reaccumulation, clear reaccumulation kind of range, while oscillators were pushing back up. Very, very good area to accumulate. We reclaim the EMAs, and that's when we might think, okay, we might be back. It's never random, right? You have the first attempt, several attempts here, and this is the first higher low here, right? This is an attempt to break this top and reclaiming both EMAs, 20 and 50. We lost them, but we established a new low that has been respected and even retested here, the bottom in April. And now we are pretty much with a double bottom, right? Still below the EMA, we need to reclaim that. The good thing is EMAs are pretty much between 13 and 15, so the move to reclaim them all is just a 16% move, something you can see in a daily candle, even less. So what we might see for this coin, and the good thing about these apparently boring coins, is that all EMAs come here into some kind of confluence, like a compression, and then you might have something like this, right? And push, get rejected at this area initially, 17, something like that, pull back, confirm we are back, and attack this level again, which is clearly a resistance level, right? This is clearly a resistance range. I'm breaking this, we have intermediate level here, and then all-time high. How high can it go? I'm not really sure. I'm really sure you should draw some Fibonacci's if we do that. I'm gonna hide the EMAs for a second. Let's draw the Fibonacci from the current top. You can say from the bottom of the cycle to the current top. Let's do it like this, to have like a cycle kind of perspective, right? Or you can do it from the previous cycle top. Let's see for now. Well, that seems like 1/6 is a very round target. I don't think that's impossible, but again, this is all pure speculation. Let's see how it has reacted to Fibonacci. This support area has been 0.38, so this coin seems to be reacting to Fibonacci quite well, 0.078. But if we measure it from the previous, top to bottom, what we are seeing is a pretty much rejection here at the 0.78 retracement, holding, yeah, more or less 0.3. So this could be a better picture for a cycle perspective or Link, and then you can have potential targets here, breaking all-time high, and then you can fly. But again, we don't know how much that would mean. I mean, if XRP being so much higher made a 6x in just 1 month without a proper all season, I don't think these kind of targets are ridiculous. Let's have a look for previous cycle. We could argue this was the top and this was the bottom. Let's see. Link did well. It went beyond 2.6, right? So I don't know how high it can go. I think we should all adapt. Well, you can see 2.6 got rejected several times with a deviation here, with an extra 48% move, while already showing weakness. Trying to time this 50 extra percent move is very, very risky. Even here, when you get these 91 on the weekly, the first initial push, you have a 60% drop. You can play around Fibonacci. Imagine you let it fall and you buy here. The Fibonacci, even if it retraces temporarily, like another 20%. What's the 20% for an altcoin, right? You buy the next Fibonacci because you see it's kind of holding, and you buy the final impulse into the bearish divergence. It's a possibility, but we don't know. Here, for example, it was a row over December. I'm sure there was a daily divergence back then, 9 December. Yeah, it's always the same thing. Very overheated in the daily, final push into a bearish divergence, even though the weekly wasn't. That's why I believe the cycle top is not in. This kind of weekly rollovers without a second impulse, like we had here, for example, November, and then we have another push into March, very overheated the weekly, and this push was a bearish divergence. This was an extra 34%. And then you have a very big correction, 64% move. Again, I don't know if it's really worth it to squeeze that. And even if you get, if you exit here and you were to buy, I'm not saying the bottom, but let's say here, it's a 32% discount. We wait to some kind of bottom formation, reclaim of BMA, that would be great, with our price still not going very high, and perhaps you can reload here, right? So trend line wise, you can draw this and say this is the trend line that link has to break, and I really like these kind of structures. The moment it breaks, it could really fly, right? We have could argue that this was some kind of bull flag as well here, like many other coins, but it was so high time frame that people were really scared. You can see it's a 60% kind of drop. But cycle wise, this is a bull flag that broke to the upside here. Now we're back here. Again, it could be chop before the real push, cycle push. I have another one here. Might be a long video, but I know you're gonna just check your coins, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna analyze them deeply, or kind of deeply. KAVA, I don't know how do you pronounce it in English. KAVA, whatever. Let's see. This is the first time. Many coins of this list are gonna be the first time I'm gonna chart them. Okay. So what I see here first is I don't like the structure, the general structure. Lower lows and lower highs. Right? With this attempt being a bearish divergence, a hidden one, so it shows continuation in this downtrend. However, we might be seeing a potential reverse here. We have to be careful because here, on the bear market, I mean, it's below bear market, bull market. I mean, in a bull market, it's been going down. That shows weakness, in my opinion. That doesn't mean it cannot push and break here, right? From this structure, this potential bottom area, it could break this trend line, right? Something like this, break this trend line and start pushing back up. For that, the first thing I want to see is this turn into support, reclaim this 0.58, something like that, and make a higher low, another higher low, and then finally break this area, which is gonna be hard to break. And that's how perhaps we do something like this. And then we can start talking about a reversal. But until then, this is still in a downtrend. Like kind of, it's been accumulated for, it hasn't lost the lows after all. So perhaps it's not that bad. If we take a look at the trend lines, because that's very helpful as well, we can see that it's getting rejected by the 50 and also the 20, but not making lower lows. So perhaps flipping that, we can see in this whole cycle, it's been rejected by both. So the moment you flip them, which by the way, making the higher low I just mentioned here would imply this is the first higher low. Something like that. Would mean perhaps, yeah, look, I mean, I just pointed out, you can say, well, something like this. Reclaiming this could mean the reversal finally, because all this cycle, it hasn't been able, just a fake out here. And another fake out here with the weekly divergence. So perhaps this is the bottom finally for this coin. Many coins only run with the 4-hour season. We saw that in the previous cycle, right? That's why once we have seen XRP, sometimes we have seen Doge. They look way better, even Link, and that means that perhaps those run faster and sooner, and these are the last one, but they might have potential. All this boring price action could mean people accumulating while eyes are glued to other assets. So it could be a good opportunity to place some money. Let's move to what am I doing? Algorand. Oh, it seems I charted this coin at some point. Let's see what we have here. No divergences. It seems the bottom, the RSI bottom is being respected since October. Price slowly climbing. Another case for double bottom. You can see that it's below EMA compared to Doge, how it's above and bouncing from them. That means it could really outperform. It doesn't mean it's the only one it's gonna run, but it might be faster. However, look at this explosion here in Q4. The only thing good here was respecting the lows with the final flush we saw for many coins. Here is pretty much doing the same, getting rejected by the EMAs. And yeah, in this case, it didn't really reclaim, it just popped. And the problem with this kind of pops is, well, if you manage to sell them, I mean, 85 RSI on the weekly, I don't know what else do you expect, but into some kind of resistance. The thing is, these kind of pops tend to come back almost to the same kind of level. There's no support for them, and it's being in a downtrend. So this is pretty much because BTC dominance allow that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see that. Drop BTC dominance, pop, like many other altcoins. And since then, going down, but making higher lows. That's something, and some kind of double bottom and bouncing from them. So perhaps this is a good entry for some moves. And it has to reclaim all the levels that I have pointed here, being 0, 49, 50, the strongest to make support, to really think about potentially attacking all-time high. CRO, SPRO, USDT, Kronos, let's say Qcoin, for example. What do we have here? Getting rejected by all the 20, 50, and 100. Okay, pretty much like here, holding the lows, liquidity grabbing in demand at this area. That's good. RSI slowly climbing. No new lows. This looks like it could be in the future. Could look like, as long as the lows hold, which have held for a year and a half. This could be the golden entry range with these deviational fake outs here, these very overheated impulses. Again, this is one of those coins that pop when BTC dominance says so. But here you can see it was above both MAs in February, right? And it decided to run later than other coins with no divergence on the weekly apparently, but I'm sure that in the daily, again, this was March 4th, might be something like that. March 4th, yeah, this was the November impulse. You can see that coins, this is similar to Link as well. They have a decent pop here and a second pop. You don't know if that's gonna happen for the other coins were dead here in late 23 and then popped into March from February, March and got all the attention. So every altcoin has its own cycle, its own time. So you have to be aware of that. But so far 92 the daily, 92, 97 so far. You could use them as a very extreme kind of indicators levels to watch for exiting. So again, this could be a good range to accumulate. Let's go to say USDT. What do we have in the daily way? Okay, all right, I guess it's in a hurry. Holy shit, 75% push right in above the MAs, getting a little bit overextended. I don't know if it's building a potential divergence or not. I mean, the great thing about this would be something like this: hold this one or the other one and reclaim them. That would be great for really being back. Let me open the weekly to have a more cycle kind of perspective. And what I see, structurally speaking, is a coin that's been making lower highs and lower lows. So that's not good, but it could be reshaping here. Perfect retest of the MA. So this is good. This reminds me of this, right? Trying to reclaim the MAs. The thing is how high this could go. It's above this potential. I think this should hold us, which aligns with the daily MA we have discussed now, like a pullback and holding. It's like holding the 50, sorry, the 20 MA, the blue one, would coincide with this support holding, and that would open the door to reclaiming the 50. If it reclaims the 50 strongly, that would be very powerful. Remember, BTC, for reference, has held the 50 the whole cycle. It's in a bull run. Many altcoins are, let's say, in a bear market because they are below the 50. If we measure them by the same kind of metric. So there's work to do, but I like this reclaim here. It really reminds me of this also because this looks like a double bottom and very similar to this one. Double bottom into reclaim of the MA. So we have to clear the averages, clear this 68, 70 level, and then we might think of all-time high. IOTA weekly. Many coins print in double bottoms. I mean, algos really like to play with people. Remember the constant drop here. However, RSI wasn't. Hint, hint, for a potential golden entry here below the bottom. So this would be like a deviation. It's a bottom that has held perfectly, except for the deviation that the people who got this kind of between 15 and 10 cents would be an insane kind of entry considering the levels that we're holding. It feels that now it's pretty much the same. Double bottom RSI, it has to reclaim all the MAs. It couldn't before, it couldn't here with this explosive move, but it's a higher low. Higher high, higher low for now. So this could be reverting high time frame. needs to reclaim the EMAs to send like it did here in 2021. Slow reclaim, boom, when BTC dominance wanted it to go, and again, perfect. I wish we had this cycle. If we have this, man, we're gonna squeeze the market out. 90 correction, not a big one, like 42, perfect, into a final explosive move, well, choppy move, like another 200%. If I play this kind of final move, it's gonna be with way less money. My perhaps 70-80% of my bag will be in cash already, and just playing with some money that I can, if I get another 2x, 4x, 5x, great, but that's just like a 20% at most. I'm not gonna risk to round trip it all, because then compounding that in the next cycle, even buying BTC, could be huge. So yeah, I hope we have something like this. Not looking bad. CRV, I'm not getting all the coins for every people because there's too many, and I'm getting pretty much like one for each person. CRV is something that I have charted before, apparently. And what we see is trying to reclaim the VMAs, getting slightly rejected here, but making higher lows. In these is a clear compression pattern, right? We have the trend line, we have this. This is clearly compressing. So reclaiming the EMA is probably with a line with breaking this range. High highs and high lows for now, looking good. 85 on the weekly. These kind of coins really popped out of nowhere. But it might feel that it's out of nowhere because BTC dominance allowed that. But at the same time, for weeks when no one cares, the whole summer, people focused on X on Twitter, following all the doom and gloom, all the daily and hourly takes for and they missed this. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. The signs are there if you just focus on the charts and forget about gazillion takes on M2, on liquidity, on cards, on fractals, on Ethereum this, Ethereum that, altcoins for this, all dates. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, because I did it, sorry, in my last cycle, and it was a fucking nightmare. You end up with so much noise that you cannot act on any on that. But you're looking for something, for kind of signal, or for hopium. You just get on Twitter, and let's see if my favorite influencer has said something positive on my coin. I go to bed very excited about the future. I forget the charts and I round trip it all. And that's how you lose money here. You have to be, it's boring. Trading is boring. And then when you finally get all the money and the cycle ends, you can enjoy it. But focus on what the market gives us. Again, not looking bad. We have to break this level, reclaim it clearly. This is a very high time frame resistance, but reclaiming the EMAs could be enough fuel to break. Next, this is like 127, next like would be like 3, and then we can start thinking about all-time high. So if we have a very good push, I don't think something like this is crazy. Weekly cycle ends like this if it's a regular small push like we've seen, like 4x. I mean, small. In crypto we are used to this, and we think it's a small 50-60% drop, another high low, and then continuation. That would be very likely. And then yes, we start thinking about all-time high. Next one would be Solana. I remember calling the weekly bullish divergence at 99. I think I can find it here before the move to 200. It must be somewhere here. 99. I don't know what it was. 90. I don't remember. I think it was in the daily, but there was some before the move. I think I can find it. Let's see first the weekly. Perfect found, sorry, bounce from the 200 here, deviation on the 100. It's not looking bad. It's not looking bad, but we need this to be a higher low, and then we need a higher high. It's going run really hard from the bottom. This could be seen as a range, as another accumulation, very long accumulation range, right, with deviations above and below, right? And it's not any random area where it got rejected, right? And I don't think this is a random area either. Some resistance on previous support, especially the moving average. So this could be a range, good place to buy. If you manage to buy here, I think it's a very likely 100 to 200 percent move. I think it looks good. If we take a look at the daily, and remember the casino in Solana, they're gonna pump that shit again, I'm sure. We could argue this is some kind of flat divergence, the extended divergence here. RSI didn't really buy that kind of drop. You can see textbook bullish divergence here to mark the bottom, like BTC, right? Bottom area. And overextension here, not much. This was May, yeah. High highs and high lows, trying to do that. Rejected pretty much as this area, but making a higher low. We need to reclaim the 200, like we did last cycle. I mean, last Q4 or something like that. Retest and off we go. Now the previous cycle, when everything looked boring, but this coin was really doing. Sorry, last cycle. I'm getting already confused. 2023, right? With all was boring, choppy, and then we reclaim silently. And I mean, when I say silently, is because price doesn't look like it's doing much, but EMAs are reclaimed. And since then, the 20 and then the 50, all the way up in a very strong move. 8x. This is the daily, right? If we take a look at the weekly, how that looked. Okay. Something has broken. Okay, this is weird. For some reason it has done that. Okay. Whatever, this is the weekly. And we can see how here, yes, it looked like it wasn't doing much. Got rejected here, final capitulation, and then reclaim at least the 20. Right? And the previous cycle pretty much right in the 20. So yeah, I think this is like a reaccumulation range in this kind of upper range. I think this coin has legs. And Jupiter, I think it is. The last one I want to check. First thing I see, like many other coins, is double bottom, potential double bottom here, rejected by into the 20. RSI going up in this potential extended divergence, flat divergence, right? This could look good. It has to reclaim the DMAs. The downtrend still, I mean, the trend is still down, right? So perhaps it's this because of just of the exchange that I have used, right? I don't know if it's there's another one that's older. I think it's pretty much the same, right? Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. So reclaiming the EMAs, we don't have much information about the weekly EMAs. If we go to the daily, it's getting rejected. It has to reclaim them. It's been in a downtrend since it started losing them here. Yeah, December, January. So yeah, it has work to do to reclaim them. Levels wise, I want this coin to, if you want to push, this has to be like pretty much the range, the area that it has to return into support 64 or 65, which is the previous rejection, and all these area. Once that happens, we might start thinking about attacking 125, which is the next range. So I want to see this kind of pushing to reclaiming the MAs, which would coincide with reclaiming 0.64. Plenty of room RSI wise. So I think this is it. I'm gonna just take another look quickly to XRP, even though nobody has mentioned this. Bull flag intact, perfect bounce from the previous top. We'll remove this and make it clearer. Now trying to reclaim the 20. This is insane. I mean, no matter how much or how I see this coin, weekly is about to attack again. And I said the slight bullish divergence here. It's insane. And this is what I was talking about. This kind of move with such a big market cap, 4x, and then finally 6x, with a clear bullish divergence, 91. It's insane. And then the retracement wasn't really that big, like 40%. It's insane. But for that kind of insanity, you have to go through this, right? Because this is from February 23 to November. It's a year and a half accumulating. I remember Bobby with so much conviction because of all the way the chart looked even before. This accumulation, this is a perfect golden entry, this bear market bottom range, and then we establish a new range after reclaiming the weekly MAs with a deviation here and the capitulation, right? And then the next week pumped up like perfect liquidation here, an entry for the pretty much at the previous liquidity levels. So this is huge, and I anticipate that 1618 is it's not a crazy target at all for XRP. Not crazy at all. If you want to get really, if we really overshoot, BTC goes to, I don't know, the 16, I think it is 194K, something like that. We overshoot between this area, could be the top for XRP. I don't think that's crazy, to be honest. Remember, it was a 6x here with just BTC dominance dropping 5%. Please remember that. Remember that all the coins we have seen popping 4, 5, 6x with just a 5% drop. Imagine if it really rolls over, right? And the money really flows from BTC to altcoins, plus the new money coming in, right? And all the parked money in USDT, sideline money. It could really be big, but you have to wait and let it all play. So I hope this charging has been useful. I'm not gonna be doing this in the future. It takes a lot of time, and let's be honest, it's my work, it's my experience, it's my knowledge. You might disagree, you might think it's not very useful, whatever, but it's everything I've learned for years and thousands of hours. So I will eventually go private. I cannot allow and afford to, more afford than allow, to do it for free so much. So let's try to make money first. Let's see if we can nail this and really start changing, hopefully to change our life for better, when we can think about something else and get ready for the next cycle. For now, I hope this has been useful, and I'll see you later. Take care.